trying to navigate your way through this market can be kind of tricky. We're looking at values that are just through the roof. We don't know how long they're going to be there. In some cases, there's employment instability, even though there's jobs that are all over the place. Some people don't want to go to work. They're telling us that inflation is going to happen here pretty quick, meaning that the cost of goods are going to go up, which they've already gone up. So what does a person do that's been in the real estate market? Is it time to buy? Is it time to hold? Is it time to sell? What does that look like for you? We'll talk about that in just a second. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. This is your man, Jason Myles. Welcome back. Welcome to the video. I want to just take a quick second, do some, housekeeping kind of things. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, please do. You can do that right here, right now. Please do that right now. And hit that little bell so that you can be notified when we have more content coming to you. And also, please engage with me. Let me know what you like. Let me know if there's something that you'd like to discuss and talk about. Please do. I'm always willing, and I'm beyond willing. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you are going through, some things that you have questions or concerns about that we can potentially talk about as it relates to business and real estate. I'm not much of the life coach, but I can definitely share some information with you as it relates to business, and it can kind of cross over into life a lot of times, right? But having said that, let's get to it. So today I'm going to talk about, should you buy, should you sell, should you hold in the economic climate that we're in today? I'm getting a lot of questions about that and some other things as well, but I'm getting a lot of questions from people that are kind of uncertain about what they need to do right now. Do we buy? Do we sell? Do we hold? What do we do? And there is no clear-cut answer to that at all, because it always is going to depend on you, the individual. What is your investment strategy? That's what it all boils down to. Now, I know people that made some pretty good real estate decisions after the financial collapse. They bought some property really, really cheap. They held it for a while. Some cases, I have one guy that sold, in 19, at the end of 19, just before the pandemic hit, and he did extremely well for himself. He took the last $100,000 he had. Having $100,000 is good already, right? But he was a real estate investor who got beat up in the market, and he took this $100,000 and went and put $10,000 down on 10 houses while he still could, while the houses were really, really cheap. He put $10,000 down on 10 houses. He went and got a job because, for a little while he was having a difficult time. Long story short, he then turned around in 2019. I think he bought those properties in 11 and sold those properties, and he cashed out that $100,000 over those 9 years, 8 or 9 years. Turned into over $2 million for him. He had no intention on becoming a landlord. He didn't want to do that. So he bought these properties. Some of them needed a little more work than others, but he bought those properties to sell them at some point in the future. He wasn't interested in being a landlord, although he knew for the time being he needed to be a landlord. As the market got stronger, as renovations were getting done, as tenants left, he decided to go ahead and sell. And again, he turned $100,000 into just under $2.5 million just with those 10 properties over the course of 8 years. That's not bad. Now, when you're looking at your portfolio and you're looking at the value in your portfolio of your real estate on an individual basis, house by house, you can decide what's best for you, because again, it's really going to be what's best for the individual, for you, the individual. There is no, yeah, it's time to sell, yeah, it's time to buy. if you want to be a long-term buy and hold person and you just want to hold forever, you're not concerned with the ups and downs in the market. You could care less. If one of your concerns are the ups and downs of the real estate market and values therein, then yeah, you want to hurry up and try to sell it while the market is high and hot enough that you can profit what you want to profit. Okay? So you have to look at what your wants are. You have to focus on what your wants are. Don't worry about making the wrong decision, right? Because those woulda, coulda, shouldas will drive you absolutely crazy. I mean, you could lose it with the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I mean, you could lose your mind with the woulda, coulda, shouldas, right? So don't worry about the woulda, coulda, shouldas. The woulda, coulda, shouldas do not matter, okay? The woulda, coulda, shouldas are for the worry warts of the world. And you guys aren't that. So stop trying to be that. When you make a decision that's best for you and your family and your well-being, stick with it. Don't second guess it. It is what it is. You hear a lot of people complain about, oh, I should have bought Bitcoin 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago when it was nothing. Now it's this much and I can't buy it and blah, blah, blah. That boat has sailed. It doesn't mean you still can't make money with it. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. Maybe it'll go up and double and triple in price. But who knows what it's going to do in a lifetime? We've already seen the meteoric rise from pennies to tens of thousands of dollars per coin. Don't look at things like that. You focus on what you focus on. And your focus, again, should simply be what you want for your life. So should you sell? Well, it depends on you. If you want to cash out now and do something else with the money, then yes, it's time for you to sell. Do you have to do that? Absolutely not. You can, there's this whole strategy called BBD, okay? BBD. Buy, borrow, die. Okay, you can look it up. So you can buy the real estate when it's low, buy as much as you can afford to buy, turn them into rental properties, and hold them for a lifetime. And then you can simply borrow against them because the money that you borrow is non-taxable. Okay? So you borrow against it. Maybe you do some repairs to the property. Maybe you do some repairs to your personal property. Maybe you pay off debt. Maybe you go on a vacation. Maybe you do a little bit of all of those things. It's completely up to you in terms of what you do with that money if you use that strategy. If you're a long-term buy and hold person and your biggest concern is cash flow, that's very easy for you to manage. Okay? Now, if you've got big dreams, again, I'm going to go back. If you've got big dreams and you want to, build a movie studio, I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there. Sell the stuff, take the money, and go invest in what you're passionate about. Maybe that's more real estate. Maybe it's buying another business. Whatever it is for you, by all means, go ahead and do that. Now, as it relates to buying, again, it's totally up to you. There are a lot of people that are just waiting to buy. There are some people that are chomping at the bit to acquire real estate right now. It's a time in the economic cycle where we have values that are super, super high. I mean, they're super high from where they were just 10 years ago. I mean, they're really, really high. So there are a lot of people that are cashing out. But there's also a lot of people that want to buy into the market right now. And they're just uncertain from a buy and hold perspective, even a fix and flip perspective. They're uncertain if now is the time for them to take advantage of what's in the market. Well, the answer to that is it's always time to buy, provided that you find the right kind of deal. Okay? You're going to find deals that make sense. Go do it. There are different kinds of deals that people are going to do in the market that we're in where they don't necessarily need the huge equity spreads that we all would love to have. I mean, there's parts of the country, they're not buying properties with, 50, 60, 70% equity in them. They're just not. So for us in certain parts of the country, we've gotten spoiled finding those kinds of deals. Deals that, just to throw numbers out there, let's say we find a deal that's worth, the after repair value on that house is $300,000. The repairs are estimated to get it beautiful and needing to be, everything it needs to be, updating the kitchen, the bathroom, the floors, maybe opening a wall or two, but just to be conservative here, let's say that was $60,000, right? So a person wants to buy this property that's going to fix and flip it at no more than 70% minus the cost of renovation. Some people even take other expenses out of there. If you're a wholesaler, you're definitely going to do that. But let's look at what that number is. Okay, so 30% of 300 is 90,000, so that's $210,000. We said it was $60,000 to renovate it. You take that off of that 210, it's 150,000. So as a house flipper, as a home flipper, you don't want to pay more than $150,000, which is 50% of the ARV, of the after repair value. Those deals are getting harder and harder to find in metropolitan areas, big cities everywhere. Can you still find them? Absolutely. Absolutely. But there's some areas you're just not going to find stuff like that. It's very difficult to find. New York, LA, Chicago is very difficult, although you can still find them. You can still find them in Atlanta, Texas, all over Texas. You have Dallas, you're good. But values are going up. Houston, it's the same in every major city. I mean, I could just roll out the list, but the reality of it is they're harder to find, but they're there. And some of those areas, forget it. You're just not going to find it. You have to make do with, buying it at 80% of its value. But again, if the house is worth $700,000 and you're buying it at 80 cents on the dollar and you still have to renovate it from there, your numbers are really, really percentage-wise small, but you can still show a, $50, $60, $70,000 profit, which really isn't that bad, right? It's really not that bad when you look at it from a dollars and cents perspective as opposed to a percentage perspective, okay? It's just like these massive corporations. These massive corporations will have, 2, 3, 4% annual profitability. You and I couldn't live off of that for the money that we have to invest. 3 or 4% a year? Absolutely not. But these are multinational conglomerates that are bringing in billions of dollars of revenue every year. Billions. And they're keeping, 3 or 4, maybe 5% of that. But, if we were doing a $20 billion deal, I think I'd be happy with 3%. I mean, just talking about me. But that's what it is. I mean, if you're buying, you look at what makes sense for you. You look at the different strategies in terms of how you want to acquire that property. Maybe it's not your typical buy, acquisition kind of style where it's, you go get a loan. Maybe it's a lease option. Maybe it's a master lease if you're on commercial or multifamily. I mean, there are a number of different options for you. That makes sense when the market is high like it is here. Will we see foreclosures coming soon? Absolutely. And that's going to be in the commercial and in the multifamily space. So you have, as well as the single family space. So you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for what you want to do now and then. You don't have to wait until the market shifts before you do anything. You want to be in the game now. You want to start doing things now so you can be in position when the market changes. Because that could be at the end of 2021. It could be at the beginning of 22. It could be in the middle of 22 for all we know. But we know for sure that you can't take advantage of anything unless you are taking action. So, to summarize everything that we've discussed here today, if you want the big cash to go do something else, sell the portfolio, sell the real estate that you have, and go do that thing that you want to do. If you want the cash flow, keep the property, use the BBD method, buy, borrow, die, and don't worry about the properties. Just keep them cash flowing. Keep them in good shape, pay the taxes, keep cash flowing. If you're wanting to buy in the market that we're in right now, do not hesitate. Just make sure the deal makes sense for where you are today. Don't worry about where you were 5 years ago or where the market's going to be in a year from now or 2 years from now. If this is what you want to do, taking action is imperative, so take action. This is your man, Jason Myles, and again, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you think, and let's talk about this a little bit more. This is your man, Jason Myles, and I'll see you later. Peace.